Let's fucking go.
Everybody, welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name is Dushan, and today I'm here to review The Penguin, episodes 7 and 8, the final two episodes of the, Matt Reeves the Batman spin-off show, The Penguin. Now, this show has been a very interesting thing for me, and I'll get more into that as we go on in the review. But big thing is, episode 6 ended with Sophia discovering where the Penguin and Victor have been setting up their operations, discovering not only that he has a mother, not only where he's located, but also discovering where his mother was. It ended there, but we kind of knew that when episode 7 kicked off, it probably wasn't going to be a good thing. So episode 7 kicks off, and well, as we predicted, the moment Sophia figured out where he was, she called in her people. She kidnapped his mother. She had Victor knocked unconscious. She had sent Salvatore. God, I always forgot his first name. She had sent Salvatore there to get his vengeance on, the Penguin for what he did to his family. And things weren't looking very good. But before things went completely off the rails, Penguin managed to ask Victor to go out and get the rest of the gangs that were aligning themselves with him to come and help him out. Because, we're all in this together. We're all in this to sell this drug together. So bring the people to come help me. Get the cavalry to come help me out. They're not going to kill me immediately. Because, Penguin, like I said, he's a very smart man. He's a very clever guy. He understands people. And he knew that Salvatore and Sophia wouldn't just kill him. They'd want to make an example. They'd want to beat the match. They'd want to really get real vengeance on him. They'd want to take their time in their vengeance. So he figured he had enough time to, figure a way to get himself out of the situation. In which he was correct, because by the time Salvatore done drug him down into his own operations and started telling the people that you work for us now, you work for Sophia and me now, he had these last two episodes really kind of show the Penguin's greatest superpower. His greatest superpower is having a fundamental understanding of people and knowing how to plug. And it's something that a lot of the greatest, once again, one of the things that I absolutely love to their approach of the Penguin is it plays to a lot of the more corruptible. It plays to a lot of real life, cult leaders / and gang leaders. It plays to a lot of drug cartel leaders. Like I say, I always compare his upbringing and some of his mindset to that of a Pablo Escobar or Al Capone, or even just of a nature of just this guy who, because to make it in that world, in the criminal world, it not only takes resolve in being a bad motherfucker, but you also have to have an understanding of people and relations. And Oswald's greatest power, other than the fact that, like I said, he's an ass puller. He's the type of guy who you put in a situation, and he's either gonna figure out how to overcome that situation, or he's gonna figure out how to change the equation of the situation to make it something that he can overcome. He's that type of guy. He's a go-getter. That's just the kind of things the kind of shit he's made out of. Like I said, he told that one story. I always go back to the story he told in episode 3 or 2 when he was talking about how he didn't even know how to drive. He taught himself how to drive in a week just so he can do it, just so he could get this job. He didn't know how to drive. Stole a car to teach himself how to drive. No, not even a week, in a few days, just so he can learn how to drive. He's that kind of a guy. He will do what it takes to get where he wants to go. Keep that in mind. But so for him, but he has this just unique innate understanding of human nature. He knows how to talk to people to get them to move the way he wants to move. And like I say, guys like Pablo and Al Capone and these types of big time drug cartels, or just, gangsters, like the people who run the show, the leaders, the dons and stuff, they understand. The biggest thing that they understand above anything else is how to talk to men, how to speak to the heart of men, how to get men to do things for them and make it think that this in their own self-interest. And needless to say, he ended up talking to all these guys who are just workers into killing all, not only helping him escape, killing all fucking Salvatore's men, and he got out of that situation. But that was just like one of the glances at how well he can speak to people, how well he can speak to the heart of people. We already saw how well he can speak to people, the way he handled Victor, and the way he handled Sophia early on. But we get to see that again here when he convinced all these workers. These guys aren't killers. These guys are just, they're just making the drugs and stuff. They're just kind of like pack mules. They're just getting paid to come in and do a job. But they believe in his dream that he's pitching so much that that they did that because yeah, they believe in him. So that should have been like the setup for what would happen in episode 8. But needless to say, he escapes. And Sophia has his mom, and Sophia is having conversations with his mom, and his mom's fighting back against her. But the mom has clearly been losing more and more of her mind as the show goes on. But when she's confronted with Sophia, like honestly, episode 7 is the last episode she truly has her mind, like her own, has control of her mind, because Sophia brought in her doctor friend, which I always forget the name of, who's a psychiatrist, obviously at Arkham, or a therapist, depending on what you want to say, psychiatrist, therapist, whatever, at Arkham, who, by the way, she kind of technically sort of pulled a Harley Quinn. I mean, because her psychiatrist fell in love with her, but whatever. But either way, he was a psychiatrist at Arkham, but he has all these techniques that he was using on her to get into her brain, and he uses them to get into the Penguin's mother's brain. But I'll get more on that in episode 8. But either way, Penguin is feeling emboldened. He's trying to figure out how he's gonna He's trying to figure out how he's gonna get this done. He's like, okay, all right, I escaped. I'm gonna gather my people together. I'm gonna call her and let her know that's things aren't working out. That you don't understand how this game works. And at this point in the episode 7, Sophia's starting to actually feel doubt. Like, this is about the point where you kind of knew that this wasn't in her heart, this type of thing. Because it became abundantly clear, like, as Oswald's mom was telling her, that you're just a gangster, sweetheart. Like, I know you think you're different, you're giving him a new name, and you're doing all this. She's like, no, you're still just a gangster. You're still just a gangster. You're still playing the gangster handbook. Like, there's nothing new. You're not actually doing anything new here. You're still a part of the problem. Like, you think you're above it, but you're not. And it became a realization to her in that moment when, the tides are starting to turn on her a little bit. But Sophia, being a smarter girl than even I thought she was, came out with a bang. And at first you kept thinking, you're like, okay, because this is the one thing I knew for sure. The 3 things, and you can look it up. Look at my videos. I made, because I made a couple of them together. So I made at least 5 videos on this Penguin show. And I believe in one of my video 1, maybe even 2, I legit said this. There are 3 things that are gonna happen. His mom's gonna. I was like, I thought his mom was gonna die, but his mom might as well have died from what happened in episode 8. I said he's gonna kill Victor. And I said either Sophia's either gonna die or be thrown back in Arkham Asylum. But so the whole time I'm thinking his mom's gonna die, right? And so we thinking, oh, she's gonna send her body in the same way he sent her brother's body in episode 1. No, she sent the bomb straight into the facility, blew a hole up in the middle of that area, destroying the entire facility with all the drugs and whatnot, pretty much making it so that none of the other gangs have any reason to help him out anymore, and anyone who would have helped him out was died or injured in the blast. So almost overnight, now she doesn't have any people on her side, but almost not really any people, but almost overnight she pretty much blew up his plans, and she was gonna do that. And then she was going to proposition the rest of those gangs who have no real loyalty to him, other than they just don't want to be under the foot of the Falcones and the Maronis anymore. But now, without the drugs, They have no loyalty to him. So you get into episode 8, the finale episode, and Penguin's captured again. Goddamn, I swear, I think he spent half these seasons captured, dude. I think he's at least been captured 3 times, maybe 3 or 4 times in the course of this show. But either way, he's captured again. But this episode really centers around something that we saw not last week. Something that we discovered actually episode 7 is that the Penguin didn't quite tell the truth about what happened to his brothers. So as it turns out, the story he kept pitching is that his brothers died, unfortunately. Like, because he was kind of pitching like, yeah, we were young. You didn't know how young they were when they died. I don't really think they ever really say that. You just know they died young. But he's like, oh yeah, we were just always into shit. We were always... Because the way he was making it sound like was like they were just going around beating the shit out of people, like they were just into shit and they just got unlucky and they died and I didn't. Like, that's the way that he kept making it sound. But in fact, he pretty much killed him. He frankly killed him. Now, I'm not as on that he knew they were gonna die, because I just don't think that a fucking kid like him, like a fucking, I don't know how old he was, 11, 10, 12, something like that. I don't think an 11-year-old or a 10-year-old kid would be smart enough to know that it was going to rain that day. That not only was it going to rain that day, but that the water goes, that he knew where the water goes. He didn't know they were going to go, because what happened is, it kind of flashbacks to him and his brother and his mother. They got a younger actress who looks just like the actress who plays his mom in the modern time, playing his mother. You get this relationship, he's the runt of the litter. You know, his youngest brother is energetic, his oldest brother is big and tall, and like the thing is, like I said, he's the run of the litter. He's the one who gets picked on the most. He's the one who's just underneath his mom, just completely underneath his mom. He's the one who feels like he's getting fucked over. He was the one born with the bad foot. He's the one born short and he's short and chubby. So it's like, in comparison to his brothers who look like there's a big gap comparison between the three, and him and his brothers are playing hide and seek near the, I can't remember, station. Funny enough, they're playing hide and seek near the area near the abandoned train station. He has his operation there in modern times. But either way, him and his brother are just having a thing there. They're just hide and seek, and his brothers are kind of dicks. Because, 1, they force him to be it, and 2, they go down into an area they know he can't get to without injuring himself. And he's just like, this is bullshit, you know? And out of anger, he closes the door that they went in there to hide in, and locks it and walks off. But I didn't get the feeling he knew they were gonna die. But once the rain started coming in, once he started thinking about it, the moment he thought they were going to die, he didn't do anything about it. He did not do anything about it. He did not go back. He did not say a word. He never said, I'm sorry. He never said I was an accident. He never said a word. He let them die. He didn't shed a tear. He didn't do anything about it at all. In fact, as his mother would put it in episode 8, while she is under the influence of this doctor's mental manipulation, so she's having flashbacks to the past, as the mother would tell you, she found out about it, that he would just look her right in the face and lie about it every single day, though she found out what happened. So the entire time, she knew that he had killed her other 2 sons, and she was terrified of him. In fact, she was so terrified of him that the guy that he looks up to, Rex, the one he was always inspired by, came by and said, I can either take him under my wing and teach him, which is obviously what happened, or I can take care of him. And she was actually planning on letting her son get killed by Rex. But he gave this great speech, this great passionate speech, which the thing is, even at a young age, he knew how to talk to the heart of people. He knew how to talk to you. He knew how to read people. He knew how to get to the heart, to what you really believe in, to what you really want, and convince you. He knew how to make you believe he believes in you. It's a very, like I said, that's his true superpower, is getting people to believe that he believes in them, and it makes people feel like they're special. It's a superpower this version of the Penguin just has. So things work. So things come out. He's captured. We get back to modern times. He's captured. His mom's like fucked up in the head. She's not all there, man. But once again, Penguin escapes again. He escapes again. He gets his mom. He gets the hell out of there. And now there's a hunt for the Penguin. And that's what the most of the episode is about. It's about the other gangs that were once with him, trying to hunt him down. And while Penguin himself is trying to wheel and deal to come up with a way to get himself out of that situation, it leads him to going back to that old, what was it? Was he a mayor? No, not a mayor. What was that political guy? I can't remember if he was a judge or what. Whatever. That old judge or district attorney or whatever he is, who he's gonna help out, who he's like gonna give him all the evidence he needs to pin everything wrong that's happened over the past few days on Sophia, so that he can get a big bust. So that way Sophia can be completely taken off the board, and all his crimes, all the crimes he's committed. Because one of the things a politician said, or whatever that guy is, I don't know if he's a politician or a judge or a prosecutor, I don't know what he is, or a lawyer. But one of the things he did tell the Penguin while they were conversating is, we're going to need you to have a more clean image. Because, you know, if you're going to do what you want to do, we need you to be more clean. We need you to be presentable. Someone who can mingle with the high society without any things. So the Penguin's like, so it perfectly works out for him to wrap all the dirty shit that's happened in his recent past all on Sophia, someone people already think is a murderer, people already think all these things about, and actually, in fact, the things she's getting wrapped for are things that people believe. So now he's worked out a way to take down Sophia. Now all he has to do is work out a way to convince the rest of those gangs not to kill him. And in the end, he does just that. The way you expect him to do. He talks to the heart of the people behind the leaders, and gets every single one of the backups, every single one of the, lieutenants to betray their boss by talking to the hearts of them, by talking about how overlooked you are, about how you'll never get the spot you want. And it really is one of the things about that gangster shit. I always say it all the time. I don't know, like even if I had an inkling to get into some shit like that at a younger age, at my age now, whatever. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I could do something where at any moment some dude who's been riding with me since day one could just blow my fucking brains out just to take my spot. Like, at any moment. Like, and I won't even see that shit coming. And it's like, and it's also a great setup for something that happens later on. So for a tragic thing that happens later on. But either way, that was a great scene because like all the lieutenants turn on their bosses. He got Sophia in the back of his car. Things have finally turned away that we all thought it was gonna turn. I know nothing. I'm like I knew he was gonna end with him winning, because it would have to end with him winning. Otherwise, there would be no point of the show. So he's got Sophia in his car, and he's just explaining to her how to get, because she's like, how'd you get them to turn? And he's just explaining to them, you never understood people. Because you lived on your ivy top. You lived in a privileged life. Sure, I'm sure you had your issues. I'm sure you had your issues with your dad. I'm sure you had your griefs. But you lived a privileged life. You don't know what it's like to truly feel held back by someone. To truly be like, I'll never get what I want. I want a piece of this pie, but someone's telling me this is where I should sit. This is where I should be. You don't understand. You don't understand how hungry that makes you. What you're willing to do to not be in that situation. Like he spoke to the heart of all of them, of all those other gangsters, of the gangsters below the lieutenants. So that was good. That sequence was awesome. That's one of the best sequences in the movie when they're just cutting through and it's explaining it to everyone. It was great. So. But of course, in the end, he doesn't kill Sophia, because as we know, he needs her to take the rap for all the shit that he does, so she gets thrown back in Arkham Asylum. But the tragedy happens. His mom has a stroke, because in the process of her escaping, she bumped her head. She bumped her head on on something, or a temple on a counter or something, and she had a stroke, and now she is essentially a vegetable. She's not dead, but there's barely nothing in there anymore. Or there's bits in there, but not everything. And at that point, I knew she's not dead, but she may as well be. Because I kept saying, I was like, she has to die for him to truly become the Penguin. But I was also a little wrong about this. I was wrong and right. It wasn't her who had to die for him to truly embrace the Penguin. He had to kill Victor. Yes, in the end, as much as Victor did for him, as close as Victor was to family to him, that was the problem. Victor was a loose end. And I knew he was going to kill Victor. I knew he was going to kill Victor because he's the Penguin. And I know who the Penguin is. I know this character. Unless Matt Reeves was doing some vastly different version of the Penguin, it just didn't seem like the type of guy who would have someone around who he gives a shit about. I know the real life Penguin doesn't. So him killing Victor wasn't unexpected. I saw it coming. I knew it was gonna happen. So when it happened, I was like, there it is. Probably people were shocked about that. When it happened, I was like, yep, there it is. Because also, I knew Victor. I was like, dude, Victor's the side character of the side. Victor's a side character. The Batman I know the Batman might be damn near 3 hours, but we don't really got time to spend on a side character. Hell, the Penguin himself, Colin Farrell, just came out and said that he's only gonna have about 4 or 5 scenes in the movie. So what? We were that's 4 or 5 scenes. What is that in a damn near 2 hour and 40-minute movie? So we really didn't have time to fucking spin on Victor. Plus, Matt Reeves never intended for this to be a season or a serial show. This is supposed to be a limited show. This is supposed to be a one and done show, which kind of tells you how he was gonna write, or he had wrote The Batman 2. Though maybe he might make tweaks to it to make a season 2 make sense, but I don't know. They also set up something with Sophia being the illegitimate, being the half-sister of Catwoman. You know, that awful, I ain't gonna lie, that whole Catwoman story plot in the Batman, like I said, it's only gotten more sour in my mouth, because I'm just like, dude, it didn't have to be there. It was so unnecessary. It didn't actually add anything. There's nothing she did in that movie, in the Batman, that couldn't have been done by another character without having to waste Catwoman just to push her into this. But whatever. So they're setting something up there. But in the end, he kills Victor. We really don't. I will say though, this finale has me conflicted, because on one hand, I feel like I can't fully judge it until I see the Batman 2, until I see how important these events are to the Batman 2. Because one of the big complaints I had from the very beginning, and I went on a little mini rant in the first video I did for this show, was that it felt I felt like I was getting answers to questions that I didn't really need to know the answer to or even care to know. It's cool knowing how the Penguin became the Penguin. It's cool knowing that the Penguin is, a good talker and all this other shit. But I was just the entire time watching this show, I'm waiting for it to justify its existence to me. I'm just I'm like, yo, I'm loving what I'm seeing, but in the back of my dome, I'm like, do I really need to know about Sophia? Do I really need to know about this pansy-ass war when the Batman is just gonna show up and whoop their ass anyways? Do I really need to know these things? And another thing is, I was a little upset that they didn't just show I thought that we were gonna get this big scene of the Penguin buying the Iceberg Lounge and, everything, but they didn't even do that. So, and then, he was always crazy, but he never struck me as dress up a hooker like your mother and dance with her crazy. That kind of came out of nowhere. He had never shown himself to be that kind of crazy. Cold, manipulative, maybe a little psychotic, maybe. But dressing your hooker girlfriend up like your mom and dancing with her crazy, that came out of left field. There was no hint of anything like that. But I digress. In the end, it's a show that in isolation is great. It's a great show in isolation. Predictable as hell, but only held back by its predictable nature because of the context of it being a spinoff. In the context of it being an unnecessary spinoff, because far as we really know, the vibe, by the time this movie wraps up, the vibe I get is Penguin's gonna be a secondary villain in Batman 2. We know he's not gonna be the main villain. he's just going to be the head of crime. He's just going to be the head of crime. And I don't think anyone who misses this show is going to miss out on any, miss out on anything in the Batman 2. But once again, I can't say that because I haven't seen it yet. So really, my full thoughts on this show really hinge on how it plays into the Batman 2. But as a product on its own, the Penguin as an entirety has been a great, held together by great performances, a great atmosphere, great direction. I just wish it wasn't so fucking predictable. But other than that, I enjoyed myself. I'd give episode 7 and 8 9s out of 10s, man. I thought it was great, man. I thought it was great. But anyways, thank you guys for the Content Move Show. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.